Would y'all rather have a man that goes to work 50 plus hours a week and only thing he can do is financially provide? Or would you rather have a man that can only work part-time but helps around the house, takes out the trash, does the yard maintenance, helps with the kids, takes the kid to practice, helps cook, clean, all of that and above? I'm curious to know. I hear a lot of women when they talk about they want a man, they say they want a provider. And when they say provider, they only think financial wise. And the man lacks in the other aspects of, helping around the house, helping with the kids. And when they are left to do it, they are being told the things that they need to get done. Me personally, I'm going to take a man that can literally financially provide and help around the house. And if you only work 32 hours a week, that's fine, because at this point we are a whole and our money is all combined. So it doesn't even matter how much you make or I make, our money is one.
32 hours a week? Oh, wait. Men are working 32 hours a week? Hmm.
But when it comes to you helping around the house, all men cannot help around the house. Some men have to be told, take out the trash. Some men have to be told, I need you to help me with the kids. Some men have to be told the things that you need them to do. Rather, you having a man that knows, I need to do this, or this is what my wife is expecting from me. I take that over a man that can only provide.
Mm. Mm. This sounds like a conversation that we have to have on after hours, because I don't know any man that works less than 50 hours a week. And that could be 40 hours at his regular job, depending on what his overtime is like. And then he may spend another 10, 15, 20 hours a week nurturing his business or going to school, or he may be doing some combination of both if he's going to school online or something like that. But uh, she's saying that she wants a hybrid. And I think that there's a third option here. The first option, as indicated right here, says, would you rather have a broke man? Which I'm assuming that's a guy that just does the minimum at work, but then he spends the majority of his time being a partner to the woman that he has children with or he's married to and working around the house. And look, come on, man. Can we stop? There's not enough work around the house other than the fact that maybe the kids are destroying everything because they don't have any home training and they may be really, really small or right before they start to get into school full time. But even the children are supposed to be taught how to clean up after themselves. So what are y'all doing every single day? Because listen, I've been around and I've raised my daughter, and my wife hasn't worked in over 18 years. And being in a space where I was able to work remote for the majority of my corporate career, I didn't see a whole lot that needed to be done around the house. But there's a third option. She says, would you rather have a broke man, a man helping, which is a hybrid, I'm guessing, and then a man that basically is doing everything and then you taking care of the household? And I think that we missing something here. And again, I'm weirded out at the idea, first of all, that she's saying that people are working 32 hours. Where y'all get these 32-hour jobs from? Where they at? I'm guessing maybe it's either fast food or retail or some form of maybe a UPS overnight stocker or something like that. That's the only thing that I can think of that they offer in 32 hours. Because if you turn it down overtime, if you turn it down full time, that means you turn it down benefits and all of that stuff. And then we also focusing on the idea that the woman is also, as a person that had children, is contributing into the household financially, which is cool. I don't have any problem with that. I think that most people are normal and most people need jobs and or purpose. But that also means that you can't nurture the children the way that you need to, especially if you have multiple children, because somebody else got to be raising them. Either Mima raising them, grandma, or latchkey or daycare, which you basically going to work to pay for daycare. You might as well not even go to work. And I think that every relationship is different. People need to do things that work from them, especially early in relationships, because early in relationships, you're not going to be in a space most of the time if you get married early, right? I'm talking about the people that get married in their 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, whatever. You still figuring it out. So prior to you guys having children, and let's be clear, the only time that I think that a woman should be a stay-at-home mother is if she's just that, a mother. If you are just a woman and you don't have no sense of direction, no purpose, I mean, if you have a significant amount of resources as a man, yeah, okay, then she can do something more purposeful. Maybe she can go to school and then do some volunteer work, or maybe she can do some philanthropic work or whatever, right? Maybe she spends more time helping you to build a business or something. But every single adult needs to be purposeful. Nobody just needs to be sitting around, because an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So that goes without saying. You need to either be a mother, but in any case, you need to be purposeful. The other part of the conversation is, I think, when do you get to the point to where, because everybody, just because you want to be, can't be a stay-at-home mother. Sometimes you got to go to work. And so that's why I think that adults need to be more purposeful in planning what you want your life to look like around children if you decide to have them, and stop just having a bunch of kids willy-nilly and thinking that that's the way and that's the play and that's the way that things are supposed to go. Once the children decide that they, or you decide that you want to have children and then place them in school full time, what does your life look like on a regular basis? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you still a stay-at-home mom if the resources is plentiful. Maybe you work part-time at home. Maybe you focusing on going to school so that you can ultimately have some sort of purpose, and maybe not need the money, but it's a nice to have once y'all get to the point to where the kids are out the house. Maybe you use your money so that y'all can put it up for a college fund and or invest it, and then start to work on and build a business. But this 32-hour stuff, I ain't never heard of that. I've never in my life heard of a grown man unless he was in school at the same time that he's working. And even then, I think that nowadays, because we have hybrid, remote classes, all of that stuff, online classes, I think that you still should be able to work full time. I think that you go to school part time and then you work full time, unless you are in a advanced degree program, like you starting to become a neurosurgeon, a doctor, some orthopedic, whatever, right? Gynecologist, whatever that looks like. But um, if you're not in those unique circumstances where you're basically building, you making a sacrifice so that the long term play is that you guys become incredibly successful on what it is that you got going on, then everybody needs to be working. I don't even say 40 hours. I say that every man needs to be working at least 50 hours a week. And then all of the stuff that you do around the house, what? Cut the grass once a week? You better off paying somebody to do that, because they doing that for $40, $45 a cut sometimes, depending on how big your lawn is. Cut the grass once a week. And I mean, some guys enjoy doing that, right? Cut the grass, take out the trash, do a couple repairs here and there, sweep out the garage or something. What else do you want him to do? Oh, you want him to be you. You want him to be a partner. You want him changing diapers. You want him heating up bottles. You know what I'm saying? You want him babysitting. I'm not doing it, fam. I'm not doing it. I will help. I will do it because I like to. I do it because I like my child. I want to be participatory in the growth of my child. I don't mind watching my child because it's my child and I like spending time with her. I don't even look at it as watching her. I mean, obviously this is when she was little. She's 17 now. But I am not going to be a baby mama. That's that's what we used to call the women in our family when they would get pregnant. We would call them the baby mama club. And it's not that they was real baby mamas, like they didn't have the fathers or the children in their life, because they did. We didn't believe in divorce or any of that type of stuff. But we would call them the baby mama club because it would be expected for them to basically not work and to focus the majority of their daytime energy on the children. And so a lot of times they would connect with each other, they would get together, they would have lunch with each other. They would go and just do stuff. They would do fun stuff. Sometimes they would even go out of town and you would still be working and grinding and hustling. But we called them the baby mama club because the expectation was for them to spend the majority of their time focusing on adding value into the children. And I would say that that is one of the things that I am most appreciative of, probably of my wife, is that I think that my daughter and the good person that she is, and all of our children, that largely came from the nurturing and the time that was spent, direct connection with the children, and having that community effect in that field, and dedicating an extraordinary amount of time. There's no amount of time that you could tell me that would go into an employer that would justify the time that was spent nurturing my daughter. And so that was the thing that was the most valuable to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Do you think that what she's saying makes sense, or do you think that it's more aligned with how it is that I'm breaking it down? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to see y'all on the Millionaire Morning Show.